Okay, so today is 10.4, negative exponents and zero exponents. So a negative exponent is literally where you have a negative sign and it's on your exponent. Okay, a zero exponent looks like that. All right. So if you've raised a number to a negative power, you can simply flip it to the other row of the fraction, which means you're going to flip it up or down over that fraction bar, and it will become positive. Okay, so let's just remember that we are never going to leave a negative exponent. Okay, so we're going to simplify by expanding, and then we're going to simplify the same question using the quotient rule. All right, so this right here is x times x times x, and this is x, 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 and x again. And I've actually done this in a previous video when we did our quotient rule. Okay, these reduce to 1, 1, 1. So we are left with 1 over x squared. Okay, now in this one, if we were to use the quotient rule, we're going to have 3 take away 5. Well, that gives me a negative 2. I cannot leave it negative. So I'm going to move it from the numerator to the denominator and make it positive. Okay. Think like someone's living on the second floor. They're not happy. They moved to the first floor and now they're happy. They're positive, right? Okay, so let's continue to use this method here. So we have x and then 3 take away 10. So this is going to be an x to the negative 7 power. You cannot leave it like that. So it would be 1 over x to the 7th. This one is, there's nothing to do other than the fact that that is a negative exponent. That is over a 1. So we're basically just going to flip it completely over, and we'll make that 5 a positive. So here, this piece right here is the only piece that has a negative 2 exponent. All right, so this is 3 times x to the negative 2 power. So let's rewrite that. 3 times x to the negative 2 power. Now this is over a 1. So I can 3 move it like this. And I know some of these steps can be combined in your head. I just wanted to kind of show you all the pieces right away. And then as you move on, you'll be able to, do some of the steps in your head. But just be careful that you don't skip important steps. Okay? So no matter what, if you see a negative exponent, you have to move it to the opposite side of the fraction bar so that it becomes a positive exponent. That is the whole point of negative exponents right there. Okay, so let's do this one. This is going to go down into the denominator. So I'm going to have a c to the 3rd over b to the 5th. This one is a negative 1, and we're going to multiply it by x to the negative 2 power. That is going to move down into the denominator. So I'm going to have negative 1 over x squared. Okay, so here I have 4 times x to the negative 3 and then y squared. This is going to go down into the denominator. So I have 4 and y squared is going to stay in my numerator, and then x to the 3rd will go to the denominator. Then this one is pretty much ready to go. We're going to move it down. So 1 over 2 cubed. Now, remember, we're talking about 2 times 2 times 2, which is an 8. Okay, you cannot do that in your head. Put it in your calculator. So 1 over 8 would be my final answer for that one. Okay, this one here, we're going to apply the exponent to both pieces of our fraction. So the first step is to do this. Okay, we're going to write it out like that. And then this one is going to come down here, and this one is going to go up there. So I'm going to rewrite it. I'm going to have 3 squared over 2 squared. So I just flip them, and then this becomes a positive exponent. So then my final answer is 9 over 4. Okay, same thing on this one. Okay, and I could show you these in expanded form, but I want to keep the video kind of short. So if you need to see this in expanded form, you can totally write it out however many times. This is 3 copies of a 2. You would have 2 copies of a 3, 2 copies of a 4. You can expand it out. So I'm going to have 4 to the negative 3 and 3 to the negative 3. And then this is going to go down here, and this is going to go up there. So 3 to the third and 4 to the third. This is 27, and 16 times 4 is 64. I'm going to double check. It's really early, and I haven't had all that coffee yet. So 4 to the third power. Yes, it is 64. Okay, there we go. And then let's see. I don't believe we can reduce that any further. I think that is, yeah, that is as reduced as it's going to be. No decimal answer. This one is fine. Okay. All right. Let's just see if we can go ahead and flip them instead of rewriting anything. We're going to have 4 to the third power and 5 squared. 4 to the third power again is 64, and this is 25. All right, same thing again. Move this down, move this up. 6 squared, and this is 2 to the first. Well, 6 squared is 36. 2 to the first is 2. And 36 divided by 2 is 18. Okay, last one here. So I'm going to, this is going to move down into my denominator. Okay, this is going to move up into my numerator. So I'm going to rewrite this. I'm going to have 5, and then I have the y squared. I'm bringing the y to the 6th power up to the numerator. In my denominator, I will have the 4. I'm moving x to the negative 3 power down here, so x cubed is going to be in the denominator now, and then I have a z. Now I can add these. So I end up with 5y to the 8th over 4x cubed z. And there we go. All right. So the next thing is going to be our 0 exponents. Okay. It doesn't matter. Whatever you have raised to the 0 power, it will always equal a 1. It doesn't matter what it is. It doesn't matter if it's letters, numbers, fluffy bunnies, like if whatever is being raised to the 0 power is a 1. Okay, so let me show you how that works. And let me show you why. Okay. Okay, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1. All right, now if I have my quotient rule, this is x to the 5th, and we're going to do 5 minus 5. We're going to subtract those. So I get x to the 0 power, which is a 1. The reason why this is true for anything is because of this. Basically, everything simplifies to one whole. Okay, so this will go pretty easy. X to the 0 power, 1. Here, everything is in parentheses. So that is 1. Okay. Here, only x to the 0 is 1. So 7 times 1, so that's 7. There's a huge difference between this and this. Over here, This is a 1. So I have 5 times x squared times 1. So I just have 5x squared. Okay. This is a 1. All right. So 3 times 2 is a 6. And then x squared times x to the 4th. If I add those exponents, I get x to the 6th. And then all of that times 1. This is my answer. Over here, it doesn't matter whatever is in parentheses. If you raise the entire parentheses to the 0 power, you get 1. This one here, b to the 0 power is a 1. All right, so now I have the 5th and the 8th. So that would be a to the 13th power. I have -4 and -2. That is b to the -6 power. This is a negative exponent. It has to go to my denominator. So I'm going to end up with a to the 13th power over b to the 6th power. Here's another one where the entire parentheses is raised to the 0 power. 1. It literally is that simple, okay? All right, so now let's think about some mixed practice. I'm actually not going to do the mixed practice on camera. I am just going to kind of go over these properties of exponents. All right. So your product rule, remember that is you have the same base and you are multiplying the same base. So then you can add your exponents. Okay. So here I have 5 times 3 and I have x squared and x to the 4th. These are going to get added. So my answer is 15 x to the 6th power. For your quotient rule, you have the same base, different exponents. You just subtract. Okay, and then if you end up with a negative exponent, you have to move it. So this right here is x, and then 6 take away 3. So we're left with x to the 3rd. Okay, so a power rule. If I have x to the a power, and then I raise that entire power to a power, then I'm going to multiply my exponents. There's a big difference between this and this. Okay, here I'm going to apply the square to both the 2. So I have 2 squared, and then I have x, and then this is 3 times 2. So we have a 4 x to the 6th. All right. The invisible 1. Okay. So you have x, that's 1x. All right. And actually, it's an x to the 1st power. Okay. So if you see this, it's really x to the 1st power, like that. So x to the 1st times x squared, we're going to add our exponents like that. Okay, anything to the 0 power is a 1. So all of this is in parentheses. The 0 is on the outside. Okay, negative exponents. If you have x to the negative a power, you must put it in the other side of the fraction bar. If it is 1 over x to the negative a power, you're going to move it up into the denominator. Okay, guess that looks like a 9. Okay, it's an a. All right, so this one here, x to the negative 3 power is 1 over x cubed, because this has to go down and this one has to go up. There we go. Okay, so that's just a recap of all of your properties. So you need to use these to do your mixed practice. Okay, we will see you in the next video.